Okay, welcome to the tutorial that is for box number 9 of Daisy's 60-minute crafts countdown to Christmas, and we're going to be painting mandala patterns onto baubles using a technique which is dot painting, using a selection of dowel, paintbrush, pencil and some poster paints. So you have all of those in your little kit. One thing you don't have is something to rest your bauble onto, so just have a little search, see if you can find yourself a jar or maybe an egg cup, and have something that you can rest it on so it's not going to roll. You don't want it to roll while the paint's wet, and you want to keep it nice and still whilst you're decorating it. So my first tip is make sure you've got some kitchen towel, because you're going to wipe the tools after each change of colour. We're not going to use water. Water does not mix when we're doing this method of dot painting. You might want some scrap paper so you can just have a little practice of the dots first and try out each of the tools. So I always recommend only opening one pot at a time. So I'm just going to open the blue there, and then selecting one of the tools, so the bigger piece of dowel, I'm just going to dip that in. And then I'm going to show you what that looks like when you touch down on the paper, like so. And you get yourself a nice dot. What you don't want to do is press it and get a splat. You want to have enough paint so that you get a nice blob of paint on the paper. So you don't take the dowel all the way to the paper, you just let the paint touch the paper and not the dowel. The way to get even dots is to always dip the tool back into the paint in between every dot that you make. So to make the design, there is no right and wrong way, but it is very symmetrical. So it's best to start with a nice big dot in the middle, and then you can work your way from that. So select your colour, put it on the side that you're handed. So I'm left-handed, so that's why mine's over here. If you're right-handed, have the paint on the right side. It's going to make things nice and easy for you. So dip your tool into the paint, and then you've got to get really brave and dot it into the middle of your bauble, like that. So the important thing is going to be not to touch it or smudge it. That's what you're going to have to be really mindful of. So I'm going to put that middle dot on, so that's my centre, and then I'm going to work round that with a north, a south, an east and a west. So I'm going to choose a different colour. Tempted to go with black because it'll show up nicely for you. So dip that in, and then dot it north, back in the paint, south, back in the paint, west, back in the paint, and if you need to, turn the bauble so your hand doesn't go in it, east, like that. Okay, but keep that bauble nice and central. So then once you've done that, you need to work into the gaps. So you've got a north east and a north west and a south east and a south west. So I'm going to change the colour again so you can see that coming together. I'm going to go with this nice maroony sort of reddy pink crimson colour, Christmassy. So dip it in, and then pop the next one in here, and then dip it in the paint. Turn the bauble, really going to help you. The bauble doesn't have to stay static. Okay, so then once you've got that central design, you can start to build out and really make that grow. So there's no right and wrong, just experiment with how you want it to look, and don't be afraid to sort of just go for it. So honestly, you can go on and on and on. I just sped that up for you so you can see me creating a pattern. But go off piste, make your own pattern and just make it as beautiful as you want it to be. It's good to choose a select number of colours, so not necessarily use all the colours. I think it works well if you choose 3, maybe 4 of the colours. Then you're going to let it dry and you can add some further detail on the top with some white spots that you can see that I have done on these ones here, and perhaps some littler dots in between that you don't want to do while it's really wet, but it will just need to dry so that you can do that without worrying about it too much. So I'm going to carry on, and I'll put a picture of it at the end when it's dry so that you can see it finished. But enjoy making your mandala balls.